Matthew 19, beginning in verse 16. This is a story that you might have heard, and this is Jesus counseling the rich young ruler. And this is a man that I believe he did not begin with the end in mind. And you are going to see, because he didn't do this, he walked away very sorrowful. Why? Because he was climbing a ladder that was on the wrong wall, and he realized, wow, I am miles and miles away from the place where I thought I was going. Look, right, what he says here. I was going, or he went to the wrong place faster. So we're going to pick it up in verse 16. I'm going to read it quickly. I mean, I talk pretty fast as it is, right? I'm going to read it just as quick as I talk. It says here, now behold, one came and said to him, good teacher, what good things shall I do that I may have eternal life? Right? He's asking the $1 million question. How do I get to heaven? So he said to him, he being Jesus, why do you call me good? No one is good but one, that is God. But if you want to enter into life, keep the commandments. He said to him, which ones? And Jesus said, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, honor your father and your mother, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. You know, he starts to spell out the 10 commandments. Oh, the young man said to him, all these things I have kept from my youth. What do I lack? Is like, hit the jackpot. I've been doing all these things ever since I was a little boy, in fact. So Jesus looks to him and says, if you want to be perfect, go sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. So Jesus says, great, you've been doing all these things, you've been keeping all the commandments. Now, the last thing you need to do is you need to sell all your prized possessions. You need to give it to the poor, because where your treasure is, where your heart is, there your treasure will be. And so if you do these things, you're going to be collecting treasure in heaven, a place where the moth will not destroy it. And so look at verse 22. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. Now listen to me carefully. Jesus does not have a problem with money. Jesus does not have a problem with wealth. Abraham had a lot of money. King David had a lot of money. Solomon, the most wealthy, he had tons of money. The characters of the Bible, money wasn't the issue. The issue is, where was the rich young ruler's heart? You know, if money was there so that he could acquire, let's say, things to serve God, if money was just a means, if it wasn't the end, but if it was a means to fulfill out the cardboard dreams that Jesus had in mind for him, sure. But the problem with the rich young ruler is that money was his lowercase g God. God was not sitting on the throne of his heart. It was money. And so you see, he did not begin with the end in mind. He thought money, and he acquired it. He had all the money. But then when he came and asked Jesus the $1 million question, how do I go to heaven? He realized that his ladder was up against the wrong wall. He went really quickly. He acquired it. All of his dreams came true. His goals, maybe his little boy goals of having tons of wealth, came true. But then when he had the wealth and he asked the question, he realized, wait, what? You're telling me I have to? He did not begin with the end in mind. So we need to make sure the first thing you're going to do before you even touch your cardboard is you need to make sure, what is it that you are trying to go, where you're trying to go. And you need to make sure that you begin with the end in mind. And for us, for Christians, the end is heaven as our home. So everything else will be subordinate to that. Does that make sense? Because here's the thing. If we dream earthly dreams without having our eyes up in heaven, we are going to come to the end of our lives unsatisfied. Like Stephen Covey says, you know, some people find themselves achieving victories that are empty. How would you define success? Success will look differently for different people. And when I say success, I don't mean money. For me, success means purpose. Does money maybe accompany that? Sure. But I could have all the money in the world, but if I wasn't doing something that I was passionate about, to me, that would not be success. To me, success is having my family, seeing my family in heaven. I could be the most successful person in A, B, and C, but if it's at the expense of my relationship with Renee, if it's at the expense of my children, I don't want it. Begin with the end in mind.